It is video you will only see on News Channel 9 as Myles Stout turns himself in to serve time for the point-blank shooting death of a teenager. Good evening, I'm Calvin Sneed.
And I'm Kim Chapman. The victim's family had no idea Stout waived his right to appeal, choosing instead to serve his sentence for killing their son. News Channel 9's John Madewell was at Silverdale Correctional Facility this morning and spoke with Myles Compton's father. John.
Well, Kim and Calvin, the victim's father feels the 2-year sentence is not enough, and we learned today Myles Stout may not serve any time in prison and could be out of jail as early as 3 months from now.
21-year-old Myles Stout takes the first step to serving his sentence. This morning, he waived his motion for an appeal or new trial on his reckless homicide conviction. 2 months ago, a jury convicted Stout for the point-blank shooting death of 18-year-old Myles Compton. A handful of teenagers had gathered at this Mountain Shadows home. 2 guns came out and 3 young men, including Stout, handled them. But he pointed the loaded one at Compton's chest and pulled the trigger. This afternoon, we showed our video to the victim's father. So does seeing this part of the process bring any closure?
No. When you lose a son, it never really goes away. It stays with you, and you think about it all the time, and everywhere you go, it reminds you of him.
Stout's sentence, 2 years, but he won't serve that. Under Tennessee law, an inmate sentenced to 2 years or less shall have the remainder of their sentence suspended upon reaching their release eligibility date. His attorney doesn't think he'll serve any time in prison. Hank Hill told us, quote, "I think the presumption is he would stay at Silverdale until he is administratively paroled by the Department of Corrections." Hill says Stout's sentence probably won't be longer than 6 months, and he's already served 93 days. That means he could be eligible for parole as soon as February. Meanwhile, Compton's family says even 2 full years in prison isn't enough for the loss of their son.
Probably the hardest time is the holidays and his birthday, which is October 13th. Those are rough days.
Now, ultimately, the Department of Corrections will determine exactly how much time Stout serves. Several factors, including his behavior at Silverdale, come into play. Meanwhile, he has also been sentenced to 12 years probation. Calvin?
John, this has been a very high-profile case. Is this the end of it?
Well, it appears it is, Calvin, on the criminal side. But remember, the Comptons have a pending $10 million lawsuit against the Stout family and the Driscoll family, where the teens got together that night back in March of last year.
Okay, keep following it for us.
Certainly.
Thanks, John.